Hey guys,
You know how the YouTube guys
Yeah, it
switch
was a
that shit
different
up?
voice.
Hey guys,
Yeah,
like it was one of them type of
different
jokes.
voice.
that was my fabulous impression of what YouTubers sound like. But what is going on, everybody? It's your boy MXP here today, and it is my 5 year anniversary on the day that I am recording this. So it's kind of crazy. I think I did a 1 year anniversary video, if I'm not mistaken. But for this, listen, that fab cut, that's the only edit that's going to be in this video. I'm gonna just give it to y'all nice, fast, raw, and hard. All right, we just gonna go straight through it. But this video is it's kind of funny because you could say I haven't necessarily been successful in social media or YouTube or content creation or anything like that. But this video is more of just like a reflection on kind of my journey over the last 5 years and different, you know, ways I've tried to pivot, change things. How do I see the channel in the future? Things that I would give advice on how to avoid. I had planned to do this video anyway, but I was talking to someone. I was doing my live stream of Silk Song yesterday, and someone in the TikTok live was asking me, "Hey, yeah, I want to start, but XYZ and all this stuff." And I was just keeping it real with him about, what journey he would be going on and entailing, what that entailed, and everything like that. Um, so I wanted to, talk about that a little bit too. So get started off, we could talk about my journey as a whole. So when I first started this channel, um, it was a very difficult time in my life and the world. It was September 2020, so I was in between jobs. The pandemic was happening. My daughter was like, I think she had just turned 2, right? Yeah, she had just turned 2. Daycares were shut down. There was a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of people tried to find these different, outlets, whether they were becoming content creators or entrepreneurs or selling and all these kinds of things. And the reason for that was people were inside, people were on their phones, people had to figure out how to do things digitally. You finally had the time to sit home. People were working from home. You had a lot of extra time to do the things and passion projects that you weren't able to before with the world being how it was normally. So for me, it was literally like a split decision one night. Like I was just up and I was like, am I going to do this? And I was just like, F it. Like, literally, sometimes a lot of things in people's lives is just going, F it. I'm going to just, whatever. I'm going to do it, see what happens. Like, you got nothing to lose. So, originally, this was a vlog channel. So, I was mostly vlogging, like, me and my wife going places, me unboxing stuff, the typical YouTuber stuff. And when you first start YouTube, they say it's the same with like music. Like you got your whole life to make your first album. You got a whole bunch of experience, a whole bunch of, ideas and all this stuff. So it's like it was easy in the beginning. I'm like, oh yeah, I could do this, I could do this, do this. I got a million things I could do, but then eventually that starts drying up, especially if you're trying to put out content constantly and you gotta kind of figure out what you want to do and where you want to go from there. But also at the same time, I found that my life naturally isn't super interesting. Like when it comes to vlogging, I think there's, two types of vloggers out there. There's either your life is just so interesting and people are willing to see stuff that they don't normally get to see, or two, you're just so entertaining that no matter what you're doing, people are going to watch, right? Like me learning how to cook or me going to play football at a professional. Like you see these type of content creators all the time, but I technically I don't think I fit into either one of those categories. So then, after doing that for around a little less than 3 years, I was like, hey, I'm a gamer. I don't necessarily like play. Like, I wasn't trying to be a streamer or anything. I was trying to be like, okay, do I want to talk about my favorite games, my favorite developers, the news, upcoming games I'm excited about, reviews, stuff like that. There's so much to talk about, but even with the gaming sphere, there's so many, all the things I just named. There's different niches and whatnot for what you could do, whether it's you want to do daily news, you want to do gameplay if you're really good at Fortnite and Call of Duty and stuff like that. Are you going to, give your opinions when certain things are happening in the industry and stuff like that? And, I kind of figured it out, but at the same time, like even where I live before I moved here, I didn't have this space of my own to kind of record and have the shelf in the back with the stuff on it and all that in the background. Like I was using this ugly. Y'all can watch any of my old videos. This stupid green screen photo of my living room when I was in the like kitchen island area. Like it just looked really bad using a green screen, recording, learn how to edit, taking me 2 hours on my MacBook, like MacBook Air. Nonetheless, it shutting down me. Like sometimes when I was first learning how to edit, like it was taking me like 6 hours to do. Like, I was putting too much in the video. I was doing too much. And then, as of late, I say over the last year or so, or a little less than that, we could say the last 6 months, I've kind of been, finding a groove of, uploading one form of long form content, every week or, close to every week, doing short form content in TikTok and repurposing the TikTok as much as I can onto whether it's a short or Instagram reel, live streaming a little bit more of the popular games and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I've been recently. Now the channel, I'm not gonna lie, has been kind of stagnant. My TikTok, the following's okay, but it's not like I'll get views and likes and comments and stuff, but like people aren't following. Like I don't know how it's a whole different algorithm over there. People are swiping, they like what they see, they hit the like button or comment, then they swipe away. They don't care to look at your other content sometimes. So, that's kind of been my journey, which is what I want to talk about for, the first half of this video. Now, the next half of it would kind of be things I've learned, and for people that are thinking about doing this content creation thing, whether you're a gamer or a artist or a I don't know. I found there's a bonsai tree community on YouTube. People got 200,000 subscribers. Like there's a million communities on here. I think the first piece of advice people say is like, okay, if you don't love this, then don't do it at all. And I think that is kind of a blanket statement. I think not a lot of people love content creation in and of itself. Like I like making content. I like, sitting down and creating something, but the actual rigmarole of it and trying to figure out, what hashtag do I use? What title and the thumbnail and what's the trend that everybody's talking about? Like that part, sometimes your editing isn't the best or the videos don't do that well. Like all this kind of stuff, that's the annoying part. So I think that's why they say if you don't love it, don't do it, because you'll end up hating the hobby that you are making content around. You'll hate, like you get discouraged, you get all this stuff. There's been videos I spend all this time doing things that there'll be, let's say a review, like games that I wanted to play anyway, but I'm like, okay, let me do some content around it. But then I start pushing myself to finish the game faster, and I'm really putting all this pressure on the review and spend 80 hours on a game, and then I do a review and it gets 30 views, and it's like, bro, like I spent like you start thinking about all the time surrounding the event itself and not the content creation. But I think, if you are willing to sit down, like I said, do the content, and you like what you're doing and it's fun to come with ideas and stuff like that, then yeah, give it a shot. Like there are times even people that love content creating, like you can't tell me people sit there like, oh, I love editing, or I want to hop up and do a video every day. Like there's not many people that are like that. So I wouldn't just take it, for face value of, if you don't love making content, then don't even start. Now, if you do hate it, I do recommend not doing it. That's for sure. And then one of the other things is finding out what works for you. Like I went from the beginning of this video, I mentioned like I started doing vlogs and I was doing sneaker content and I was doing this and that and trying to figure out how often I want to upload and what type of content. Like you got to figure out what works for you and not what everybody else is doing. I tried to do that before where I'm like, oh, this person uploads 3 videos a week, but they don't do short form content at all. They don't stream. Like that works for them. Or maybe they're single, they don't have a family. Like I have 2 kids and a wife. Like there's certain parameters you have to figure out what works for you. Sometimes you might end up figuring out the content creation as a whole doesn't work for you, or it's going to take you longer and you have to accept that's going to take you longer to get to where you're trying to go. And that's just it. Like, you figure out what works for you, try your best to do that, and accept what comes with that, because it's not always going to be, what everybody else has. And that's another point, is not comparing yourself to other people, even if you do what other people do. Like, you might see there's some people that's super successful, their thumbnails are very generic and their titles or whatever, and you see them getting hundreds of thousands of views. Some people that work, sometimes you get caught in the algorithm. Some people have been on the platform longer, so they've built a following, or they're in the algorithm recommended and stuff already, and that's just how it works out. And sometimes it's, I don't use the word luck, but it's like the perfect storm, the perfect circumstance of timing, what topic they're doing, who's watching them, who it gets recommended. They might share it to this person, they might get clipped up, all this kind of stuff. So there's no silver bullet that will say, if you do A, B, and C all the way to Z, you're guaranteed to be successful in this. There's no guarantee at all. No matter what you do, no matter who endorses you, no matter how many ads you get, all that kind of stuff. There's no guarantee at all. However, there are those things that are, will help you. Like I said, like figuring out a schedule for yourself, doing what works for you, figuring out the right way to make a thumbnail or to draw people in, because you can make the best content ever. If the thumbnail doesn't attract people or the title doesn't attract people, they're not going to click on it, so they'll never know how good your content is anyway. So, that's just my advice on that. And then the last piece of advice, which is what I told someone on the TikTok live yesterday, was the whole consistency. Like, people use the word consistency over and over and over again. What does that mean? And it kind of goes to my other point about finding what works for you. Consistency to me means not just doing something over and over again, but it means doing the right thing at the right time, at the right frequency, right? So, okay, this is the type of content that works. So I'm going to double down on that type of content. I'm going to put it out on whatever frequency seems to work for me, my life, and what my viewers like. And I want it to be at good quality. Like, that is what that consistency means. And then being consistent in those points. Now, you find a formula that works, build upon that, be consistent in that, meaning follow that formula over and over again. If it starts getting stale for you, switch it up a little bit. If you start falling off and you know why, switch it up a little bit. But building that foundation and following that formula, that is where consistency comes from, and you want to keep doing that. And it takes a minute for a lot of people to find that. Some people go year, like this. Listen, 5 years, I said, I've been doing it. Some people I know 17 years, and it took them 12 years to get to any type of, large following. And, I guess that was my last piece of advice, but I guess my real last piece of advice is just, if you feel like it is working, or you're willing to keep going with it for however long you're willing to go with it, then do it. It might take, like, 10 years sounds crazy, but that's what it is sometimes. So do that, keep your chin up. Don't get too frustrated if it ends up, there's going to be challenges and battles along the way. I still have them. Everybody else still has them. The super successful people have them. It's just whether you're willing to do it or not. I personally, I like having these ideas. I love gaming. I love expressing my tastes and how I feel about certain situations. And that's kind of why I made the channel in the first place. I shifted towards where I'm at now, where I'm having these discussions talking about, the state of the gaming industry, the, pricing this, where's it going here, a platform. Like, I love the getting more into the behind the scenes. I know I hate it sometimes, and all the discourse online and us knowing things we never would have known 10 years ago. But, it's cool. It's cool that this has become a thing, and there's so many podcasts and creators, and there's a space for everybody. So that's all I got to say. Appreciate everybody who, has been rocking with me for the last 5. Hopefully we can get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We got a little less than 3 months, or a little more than 3 months, 3.5 months. So hopefully y'all, check me out. Check me out on TikTok, Instagram. All those links are in the description. Hopefully we'll be here for another 5 and another 5 after that, another 5 after that, and another 5 after that. But I appreciate y'all. Good luck on y'all journey if you're pursuing this. And yeah, I'm out.